What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It is Apex Predator here. So this is season 3 now of the official FIA Gran Turismo Championship. I believe that's the official title. I've missed the first 2 rounds, sadly, so this is round 3 now of season 3 nations, and it's in the Racing Kart. Yes, my favourite thing in the whole game. So we're looking for a good race here. I've been looking forward to this round. But I mean, look at the room, it's not that strong, so I really need to sort this out. I need to spend a little bit more time in sport mode and a little less time just having fun racing go-karts in the lobbies. But I mean, never mind. So let's get into the race and see what we can do. Here we go, then on pole. Pretty easily as well, to be honest. Not the best lap for me. Let's have a look, what is it? It'll definitely be a 56. 56.3. It's not bad. Not bad. Could have got a 56.2 fairly easily. 56.1 probably as well. I am a member of the 55 club as well in Tsukuba, in the stock go-kart. No slipstream, stock box gearbox. 55.9. I didn't do it in the practice room, which is a shame. I was about a 10th off the top 10 board, but I mean I didn't pick up practice for this until Tuesday, so not too bothered. I think I probably could have got that top 10 board with a little bit more practice, but never mind. But yeah, before this, so as I was saying, I think I touched on this in the lobby. Hold on, actually, before I get into that, I'll talk you through the race. So the crucial thing at the start of the go-kart race, obviously, is to try and break the slipstream. It's about 7.5 tenths in the go-kart. So I've tried to just, bam, absolutely go first lap here and pull away from P2. And as you can see, just about getting there. I think he's going to just have a bit of slipstream down here, though, so he's going to just still be in touch. But yeah, as I was saying, I need to get myself in a position to be in stronger rooms now, because I did a practice race before this, and I was in with most of that top 10 board. Patum, Raceface, Muzzletard, some other German who was P1 on that top 10 board. I can't pronounce his name. It began with an M, Marsden or something like that. I can't remember it. Marsola, something like that. I think he was P1. So I was racing with those guys in the practice room, and you know, we had a big chain of us. We're all doing like 55.5s, 55.8s with the slipstream, of course. Really good practice race. So I was all like pumped up and hyped, and then I ended up in this lobby, and it's a bit too easy, you know. It's an easy P1, it's an easy fastest lap, and it's an easy race win. It is a shame, but I mean, I should expect it really, because it's because of my DR. My DR isn't as good as it should be, because I'm pretty bad in the cars. This is the only thing I can race. So I mean, almost what I need my own go-kart DR and my own go-kart sport mode, so I can just do go-kart sport mode races, get my go-kart DR up, and then I can have strong like karting sport lobbies, but weak car sport lobbies. Because this is the thing, so I have had my DR up. It's been close to 60 before. I got to S just before we had the penalties, the really harsh penalties from a few months ago. So because I was a bit late to the game, I got that S rank just a bit too late. So I got it literally a couple of days before those harsh penalties came in, and then it was very, very hard to keep it. And you're just getting penalties from people tapping you all the time. And since then, I've kind of lost my motivation a little bit, my drive for sport mode. So I've just been kicking it in the lobbies, really having fun. But I think this race more than anything is going to motivate me now to try and get that DR back up to at least, I should easily be at 50. I think it's at about It hovers around 45, 48, and then I'll maybe try and have a little bit of a fun race in sport mode, and it'll come back down to 40, 42. It should be at 50, 55. I could probably get it at 60. I don't think I could maintain it at 60. I don't think I'm good enough, but I think it's well within my capability to get my DR 50, 55, and then that should be enough to start getting in the good lobbies again. Because yeah, I mean, this was just, I mean, I don't want to slag it off too much because I'm showing you guys, but this is nowhere near a good kart race for me. I have better kart races than this every day in the lobbies, you know, really good races. So this was a bit of a shame, and like I say, because I'm not being pushed, I start to sort of lose concentration a little bit, and I think I make a mistake, and he does get the slipstream back up again in a couple of laps. But I didn't even mind it. It's just another opportunity for me to push and try and break that toe again. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But like I say, it's my own fault for not putting the time into sport mode recently. But I've got no excuse now. I've told you guys about it, so now, you know, the next time I do a video, if I'm still around the same DR, I've got no excuse for it. I need to do some more sport mode races. But the thing is, I don't know, I'm just not very good in the cars. I don't know what it is. It's just the cart's just, I don't know, just clicks with me, and everything else just isn't quite the same. So you can see P-Lab, the Irish guy in P2, has got the best lap at the moment. I think it's a 56.2 from memory. I can't see it at the moment. It might be a 56.3 at the moment. Remember, I can't really see when I'm doing the commentary. So that'll be with a little bit of slipstream, remember. I think might have had a little bit of a bump draft from the Spaniard in P3, and I think he had a little bit of my slipstream on the back straight as well. But I'm not worried. I know I can go faster than that without slipstream. As I say, member of the 55 club as well. So I've got the pace if I need it. But yeah, not really being pushed, so I don't really need to pull that pace out of the bag right now. I'm quite happy just sort of running around. So, new tyre model really helps the karts. I think most people are saying that the cars are a bit slower. It's not the case in the karts at all. I don't know if you guys can remember, but I think the last time there was a Tsukuba kart race in sport mode, it was just a daily race, I believe. Although I do have an FIA kart race at Tsukuba as well. Anyway, the lap times there were around the low 47s. You were really on it if you got a high 56. Sorry, 57, not 56. So yeah, the lap times were in the low 57s, or you were really on it if you got a high 56. Just to clarify that point. Whereas now, you know, there's about a second difference. So the best way for me to describe it is there is a little bit more movement in the tyre wall. And I'd say if you've ever driven real life karts, it feels the same as if they just let a little bit of pressure out of the tyre. So you know, on a really hot day, you might just let a little bit of tyre pressure out. And when you drive that kart, you can almost feel it. There's just a little bit more give in the tyre. It just wants to... I think it's because it's softer as well. There's a little bit more surface area of the tyre on the track as well, and you can feel all of that. And what it means in the game anyway, is that when you load the tyre, so when you lean on the tyre, it has a little bit more give, so there's a little bit longer of the weight sort of being transferred through the chassis and through the rubber, and you can feel that. So what it means when you're driving is there's just a little bit more... That's the best way to describe it. There's a little bit more of grace period, I suppose, when the tyre starts to lose. So when you put in that force through the chassis and it goes through the tyre and it starts to just go, it's a little bit longer now. It's a little bit more gradual. But with the karts, because what you used to be able to do was when it started to go like that, you just keep your foot in it and the kart would just sort of pick up and go. Whereas now, if you try and keep your foot in it, once the tyre starts to slide, the tyre just gets too hot and it won't grip, and you'll just... So what you need to do is, when you feel it start to go like that, is if you're hard on the throttle and it's going to spin, you're going to need to sort of lift a little bit and just let the tyre recover and then push it again. Whereas if it's not spinning, it's just almost like a four-wheel drift sort of thing. It's just sliding across the track. Then you can just stay with it and it will pick up. But I think basically what it's meaning is you can brake a lot later. It feels like there's a lot more lateral grip. But when you're loading the tyre, it's just sort of struggling a bit and doesn't quite have as much horizontal grip. So turn 1 here, you can brake so much deeper than you used to be able to. So much deeper. And it's right between 3rd and 4th gear, that corner. If you're really on it for a hot lap, I'd leave it in 4th. But I find that just when I kick it down to 3rd, it just helps me get a little bit of rotation. And I can just, once I've got that little bit of rotation from 3rd, I can just kick it back up to 4th and put my foot down and drive through. So we got P2 putting the pressure on again. We've made those mistakes. Look at my lap times on the right. You should be able to see a 57 there, which is pretty slow. Should be pretty much every lap in the 56s easily. So making mistakes, but like I say, I'm not too bothered. It gives me another chance to try and break the toe. But yeah, lap records are falling left, right and centre for me in the karts with the new tyres. Big improvement. And yeah, it just means that you can just sort of feel what's going on a little bit more, I find. There's just a little bit more, give. It's less snappy, it's a little bit more progressive. And I found it really helps me. Yeah, if you want a tip, if you're serious with your go-karting, if you want a tip for this track, obviously it's not going to help you in sport mode, but a longer 3rd gear is very, very useful here. Just for these 2 hairpins, this one and the first one we did, see how sort of careful you need to be in 3rd there. It's just too short, whereas if you've got a longer 3rd gear, you can be on the throttle much sooner and just drive the car through. There's a lot of lap time to be had. The final gear, as you can see, is pretty good, and what I mean by that is just the length of the gearbox as a whole rather than individual gears. So the final gear is not bad, pretty good. Could be a little bit shorter maybe, slightly shorter, but overall it's fine. It's just 3rd gear, so for this corner, sort of in between 3rd and 4th, it's not ideal. This hairpin that we're coming into is probably the main one where you can gain time with a good 3rd gear. You want to be around, bam, 3rd gear, full throttle now. But you can't be with this gear, it's a bit too short. You see how it sort of just had trouble there getting the power down. So yeah, that's probably my best tip for this track if you want to get into your karting. Well, I've got loads of karting tips really. I can tell you about steering sensitivity settings and stuff. So I use a TGT, so of course it's going to be personal preference and also I suppose equipment dependent. So if you don't have a TGT, I'm not sure that my steering settings will be too good for you, but I would recommend having your max torque low. I have mine on 1 for example, but I have mine low anyway, so even my cars I have it quite low. So anyway, I have my max torque 1, I have my feedback sensitivity 1, and I have my controller sensitivity on 6. You can have it on 7, 6, 0 or 2. That one doesn't make too much difference, but it does have an effect. And what it does on the TGT is the higher that controller sensitivity setting, the more feedback I get through the wheel. It doesn't change how quickly the car reacts to my inputs, but it seems to heighten the feedback that I get through the wheel. So for ages I had that very low, I had it on 0. But I have it on 7 in the cars and 6 in the kart. So to recap, my go-kart steering settings are the top one, controller steering sensitivity. I have that on 6. You could have it on 0 or 2 if you find that you're getting too much feedback through the wheel on the straights. Have a little play with it. I have it on 6. The next one is max torque. I have that on 1. And then the next one after that is feedback sensitivity, and I also have that on 1. So if you want to try my settings, those are them. As you can see, I have ABS turned off. This was a massive help for me. The main thing I struggled with when I first started karting in this game was that the kart just, I don't know, it didn't quite feel the same as it did in GT6. I couldn't really just feel what it was doing. I turned the ABS off and it felt a million times better, so much better. So I have ABS off and I have my brake bias set to +1 usually, although I might have it on +2 at the moment. Now I was running +2 for qualifying because it was helping me in the first corner. For ages my optimal was a 56.0 here. I put my brake bias to a +2, ran a couple of laps and I got it down to like a 55.93 very quickly. I improved my best lap as well, so for a long time my best lap was a 56.197. I've changed my brake bias to +2 rather than +1 and it came down to a 55.1 or something, so not a lot, but when you're chasing temps to get on the top 10 board, it does make a difference. So bear that in mind. I found some time with it on +2, might work for you, it might not, but pretty much everywhere else I run it on +1 with ABS off, and that helps me. Other than that, I think it's just you need to get used to how the kart behaves, how it drives, how it feels. Very different to most of the cars, I suppose. Minimal steering inputs, but I like that, you know, I like how sensitive it is. A lot of people say it's unstable, but it's not unstable, it's just on a knife edge, you know. It's very, very responsive. I mean, look at it here, you know, it doesn't look unstable, does it? It's just, well, I say that. It does look a little bit unstable. It's just what it is. Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, come on. Yeah, so you just have to be too careful with it in this gearbox. But never mind. Alright, we need to get this fastest lap if we're going to get the triple crown. Pole position, fastest lap and a race win. It won't be easy without slipstream. 56.1s are doable, but they're not easy. Let's see what we can do. Well, actually, I think I end up picking up back marker slipstream, which is like the best slipstream you can get because they're ghosted, remember, when you're lapping them. But you still get their slipstream, so it's just so OP. It's like the perfect slipstream. But yeah, the slipstream effect is a little bit too crazy in the karts. Even when you have it set to real, you know, it's pretty strong, has a big effect. Because like I say, I got the fastest lap on, well, lap 19 and lap 20 were both fastest laps, I'm pretty sure, in this race. But neither of them were very good laps, it was just that I got a little bit of back marker slipstream, so... That's so OP. So lap 18 now, messed up turn 1 a little bit. Look at the gap though between us and P2, so I built up that gap enough that I can afford to just try and get the fastest lap now. But yeah, see what I mean? Just a bit of a naff race really. I have way better races in the lobbies, but it's just because of the, like I say, it's just my DR score putting me in. Putting me in rooms without much competition, but I mean, yeah, what can you do? You see what I mean there? I'm in third just to get a bit of rotation, and I flick it to fourth once I've got the rotation. I don't think that's optimal. I think it will be better just to nail the braking, leaving it in fourth, but in the race I was preferring to flick it down to third, because if I try and leave it in fourth for the perfect lap, more often than not I'll be slightly wide, so I was liking third just to help me control the speed on the apex. This is looking like a pretty beastie lap. Not bad, but still not fastest. But yeah, we're starting to push now, so I remember getting to around lap 20 and then deciding, right, I want that fastest lap now. I can already feel the kart getting a little bit of slipstream. It's crazy. Not now though, but before that guy went off, it's just a little bit more lively, a little bit keener to rev. Yeah, slipstream. It's just so much faster. Is it set to weak in the FIA races? It's not usual. I don't normally find it this strong. It's almost like boost is turned on. I remember in the race I was thinking, is this a bug? Is it some kind of weird boost? Does it think I'm at the back because I'm catching these back markers? I couldn't believe how much faster the kart was feeling at this stage. Like I say, you're going to watch me get fast lap, I think, fastest lap these last 2 laps consecutively. And they were pretty scruffy laps, really. It's just that I had this fucking bizarre boost on the car, giving it like an extra 20 horsepower, it felt like. Look at the purple sectors. Pretty scruffy there, really wide. Look at this. Horrible last corner. We've still got the fastest lap. Crazy. This is what I mean about how back marker slipstream is like the best slipstream, because look, I'm getting the slipstream, but he's not going to hold me down, because usually when you're in a race and you know karting for slipstream and stuff, it's like what's the term? No, I can't think of it. But there's like pros and cons basically. You have the pro of the slipstream, but the con that they're in the way when you get to a corner. Whereas in this case, look, it's just you get all the benefits and none of the downsides. Free slipstream and they don't get in your way on the apex. It's just perfect. So this will be fastest lap again, I think. And like I say, neither of them were good laps, but we'll take it. So there we go. Pole position, race win, and fastest lap. Now, I wanted to show you or to the end, so you can see the points and everything, but for some reason the video cuts out in a few seconds, so I can tell you the points. It was only 1600, which like I say, it's just more indication that I'm racing a little bit below my ability at the moment. But it's weird. I'm racing way below my karting ability in sport mode, but when I hop in a car, it's about there because I'm just so rubbish in the cars. So whatever, we'll see. We'll see. I do think I can get that DR up a little bit, up around 50, 55. That should be my target, I think. So we'll do that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry there wasn't much action in that video, but there we go. I can't really do much about it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks, bye.